And he has promised us, this committee, through his letter, that after November 1, be present in today's hearing. Ano to? Naglolokohan tayo dito? Well, in fact, I will not discuss and argue with our colleague, Congressman Kit Flores, with regards to the content of this second letter. But, malinaw po, Mr. Chairman, na naglulukuhan tayo dito.
Enzo Recto, kalaban ang katiwalian at kasinungalingan, kakampi sa katotohanan at kabutihan.
So, I proceed, Mr.
Please
Chairman?
proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And last, but not the least, at last, we received a letter coming from the former President, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the authority given to Attorney Delgra, no, as his counsel in this investigation, Mr. Chairman, just a while ago, no, and I think all the members, there's a copy of the letter coming from Attorney Delgra, no, with regards to the reply of the former President on the invitation of this committee, Mr. Chairman. So, I give the floor to the Chairman and to the wisdom of the members of this committee, how we will go about with regards to the letter of Attorney Delgra representing the former President. And Comsec, may I ask, is Attorney Delgra present?
Not today, sir.
Before we discuss with that, Mr. Chairman, I move, since, of course, he has a letter sent to us, no, the former President, giving authority to Attorney Delgra, I move, Mr. Chairman, that we issue a show cause order for Attorney Delgra to be present on the next hearing on the basis of his letter, no, and the authenticity of such authority given to him by the former President. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, before we rule on the motion,
yeah, Mr. Chair, I just like to
let me allow
recognized.
the members who wish to manifest, no, while we are at this subject matter on the letter sent to us by Attorney Delgra as the counsel to the former President.
On the matters of the letter of Delgra, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please. Please proceed.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I believe, Mr. Chair, that the letter that was sent to this committee is about the reasons why the former President opted not to attend this committee hearing. As we all know, Mr. Chair, previous days ago, he attended the Senate inquiry on the same subject matter, Mr. Chair. I would just like to be enlightened as to how do we go about with the standing invitation to our resource persons. I understand, Mr. Chair, that the committee, this quad committee, has been so lenient to the former President and to some individuals. And I agree with the leniency we have extended to the former President, according to him, being a former president and being a former head of state, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, some of the guests here who were not present, sent us a letter, an excuse letter, specifying medical reasons. And for some, they have also sent their lawyers to represent them. I believe the lawyer of the former president, Attorney Delgra, is being given authority by his client, this being the former president, to appear on his behalf. Because as I was glancing over the letter of Attorney Delgra, specifying the reasons why the former president decided not to attend this committee hearing. And some of them are, to me, is some of the reasons, at least on my part, the way I understood it, is not only on the basis of him avoiding or refusing to attend the Quadcom, but he even went to assail the integrity of the Quad Committee and even questioning the impartiality of some of the members of this Quad Committee. Now, I believe some of the members in the Senate, our counterpart, have also been extended the same invitation. But due to interparliamentary courtesy, we understand we never forced for these individuals to appear before this committee. I just want to be clarified as to the questions of attacking the credibility of the Quad Committee, and to some extent even questioning the impartiality of some of the members here, and in totality questioning the integrity of this Quad Committee. I really would want to ask Attorney Delgra to expound on this letter, because the former president attended the Senate committee investigation and so generously shared his thoughts on his policy on the war against illegal drugs. And as I was glancing over the letter, I also noticed that there are even some allegations of subordination, that some of the members here coerced a certain individual to say something which basically inducing perjury. So that is something to me that cannot be just simply ignored because it borders criminal acts, Mr. Chair. And the third one, Mr. Chair, is that the reason why the former president is not present today, it's because, according to his lawyer, he has sufficiently and generously shared his inputs and insights and comments to the Senate subcommittee chaired by Senator Coco Pimentel. But unfortunately, my confusion, Mr. Chair, is that when his allies, his spokesperson was asked about the truthfulness of his responses to the interpellation of one of the members of the Senate, he told the public that it was merely a joke, that the truthfulness of the statements of the former president seems to be in question. Because how can we take something which is a joke? So it makes me, it's difficult for me, Mr. Chair, to just simply take as it is at face value the transcript from the Senate when we do not even know which part of his statements is a joke and which part of his statement is real and true. These questions I would really want to ask to his lawyer. Now again, we don't require the former president to be present because we accorded to him the leniency and the respect that he deserves as a former head of state, as a former president. But then again, these allegations of impartiality, questioning the impartiality of the Quad Committee, assailing the integrity of the Quad Committee, at the very least, Mr. Chair, I was really expecting that Attorney Delgra would be present, and rather than just send to us a simple 3 pages letter. At the very least, he could at least enter his presence here, his attendance, Mr. Chair. So I just want to be clarified on how do we go about with this. Kasi unang-una, Mr. Chair, parang, look at all our invitees here, Mr. Chair. Some of the most important personalities that would give us insights and inputs for this committee to be guided properly and correctly in arriving to a sound judgment once we file before the plenary and report before the plenary, the committee hearing, are not here, are not present. Some of them, bigla na lang sumasakit ang mga bigla na lang may sumasakit sa mga katawan nila. Some of them are still, meron mga search warrant yung iba. So I just do not want to impress upon the public that these individuals who have served the government, who at some point in time took the oath of allegiance to the Constitution, at alam po natin ito lahat, upholding the Constitution without mental reservation or acts of evasion, the very Constitution that we swore to uphold and pledge the allegiance to gives us to constitutionally exercise our oversight function. What they're doing right now, Mr. Chair, is a clear act of evasion. Mr. Chair, I just want to be clarified. How do we go about with this kind of situation?
Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that manifestation, Congressman Adyong. We will address that concern later when the committee deliberates on the contents of the letter sent to us by Attorney Delgra. Yes, Congressman Flores, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, Attorney Delgra is just being the lawyer, Mr. Chair. He's just, I think, stating the reasons given to him by his client, the former president. So if we insist that he be present, Mr. Chair, I don't think he will be the best person to answer the questions that we may have. It should be the former president himself. But I do not agree with the reasons he stated in his letter, Mr. Chair, but I don't think he's the proper person to ask, Mr. Chair. He's just the representative of the former president. And he,
Mr. Chair.
We have a situation here now. Congressman Adyong asking for clarifications as to how can he address the former president intelligent questions that needs answers directly from the former president, while Congressman Keith Flores is just stating that Attorney Delgra cannot answer these queries that will be propounded by the members. So,
Mr. Chair, may I respond to that? Just
Mr. Chair,
very short,
Mr. Chair.
short, very
okay.
brief, Mr. Chair.
Congressman
brief, if
Adyong
may be
first,
allowed.
and then Congressman
Very-
Harry
yeah,
Fernandez.
thank you very much, Mr.
Just make it short.
Yeah,
Congressman
very
Adyong.
brief, Mr. Chair. I understand, Mr. Chair, my good friend here, Congressman Keith Flores. But number one, Attorney Delgar was chosen by President, so he confidently have trust on Attorney Delgra to at least respond on his behalf. Questions. Number two, the position of this representation simply is on the matters of the content of the letter. I will not be asking Attorney Delgra on how the previous administration implemented the war on drugs. I understand that he is not capable and he is not competent to answer these questions. I would simply wanted to ask, since his signature is affixed in his letter, I would simply want to ask how, I'm pretty sure they have discussed this over with his client. So I just want to elucidate to us, how did his client, the former president, arrive into this kind of conclusion? Because what appears to me, Mr. Chair, and what I do not simply cannot afford to understand, is that the House of Representatives, being part of a two bicameral chamber of House of the Congress, the Senate on one hand and then the House on the other hand, that a certain individual can simply select which institutional office he would like to go to. Now, to me, the former president had displayed a very active participation during the Senate investigation. And how come he cannot afford that? The respect that we have accorded to him because he was a former president. And I do not at least expect him to give us praises, to even, at the very least, compliment the works of this Quad Committee. But I did not expect that he would assail the integrity of the Quad Committee and even attack the integrity and the impartiality of some of the members here, Mr. Chair. So those are the questions I would like to ask to Mr. Attorney Delgra. And some of the members here, Mr. Chair, entered their appearances here. So do we also extend the same courtesy to Attorney Delgra?
I absolutely agree with you, Congressman Adyong, that we will have to require the counsel of the former president to enter his appearance before this committee. Unfortunately, when we received that letter the other day, we tried to reach him and ask for his presence for today so that maybe he can point out some or maybe answer some clarifications we may ask
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
the lawyer.
Mr. Chairman.
So, if I may,
Point
okay,
of order.
what is the point of order, Congressman Acop?
There was a motion a while ago for Attorney Delgra to be issued a show cause order. But pursuant to our records, we haven't invited him. In accordance with our protocol, an invitation is supposed to be made first, and if he does not appear, a show cause order will be issued by the committees. So, I think we should issue first an invitation to Attorney Delgra for him to appear and show to us yung service engagement agreement that Attorney Delgra has with the President, former President, simply because it would be consistent with our protocols. In the case of Michael Yang, Attorney Raymond Fortun was asked to produce yung agreement po nila ni Mr. Michael Yang at saka si Attorney Fortun. So, Mr. Chair, to be consistent with our protocols, I move that we issue an invitation to Attorney Delgra rather than issuing a show cause order. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to
Mr.
invite
Chairman.
Attorney Delgra. Sige.
Chairman,
Yeah,
before we rule with
with the
the...
indulgence of Congressman Acop, because there was a motion that the chair and the committee was about to rule. Now, because of that, there are interjections. And because there are interjections from the co-chairs, we would like to entertain first before we rule. Now, in this case, Congressman Paduano, and then Congressman Dan Fernandez, and then Congressman Ace Barbers. Okay, is that yes, Congressman Paduano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ganito lang po, Mr. Chairman, why I moved to issue a show cause, but I don't have any debate with regards to the possible amendments to my motion, no, with regards to show cause order for Attorney Delgra. But remember, Mr. Chairman, that we have already sent 2 invitations. This is the second hearing that we invited the former President. And the first invitation was answered by Attorney Delgra, no, for on behalf of the President, in the absence of that authority being requested by this committee through this representation during the last hearing. Now, Mr. Chairman, looking at the answer, looking at the reply of Attorney Delgra on the first hearing, well, in fact, Mr. Chairman, naglulukuhan tayo dito. Why? Why? Because the first reply made by Attorney Delgra representing the former President is that the excuse is that the President, the former President, needs much rest, and assured this committee that he will be present in the next hearing. At the same time, he has a specific date, Mr. Chairman, given to this committee through this letter, after November 1. And let me read, Mr. Chairman, allow me to read in toto the portion of such reply coming from Attorney Delgra. Hence, my client respectfully requests to defer his appearance before the Honorable Committee scheduled tomorrow. Rest assured of my client's willingness to appear before the House of Representatives on some other available date, preferably after November 1, 2024. And for the record, Mr. Chairman, the invitation that was sent to the former President and was answered by Attorney Delgra was before the presence of the former President in the Senate. And he has promised us, this committee, through his letter, that after November 1, he will be present in today's hearing. Ano to? Naglulukuhan tayo dito? Well, in fact, I will not discuss and argue with our colleague, Congressman Kit Flores, with regards to the content of this second letter. But, malinaw po, Mr. Chairman, na naglulukuhan tayo dito. Naglulukuhan tayo dito because the first letter that he will be present after November 1. Kung hindi tayo naglulukuhan dito, eh ano? Natatakot siya? Na pumunta dito? That's why, Mr. Chairman, that's why my first motion was to issue a show-cause order for Attorney Delga to answer both letters. And, Mr. Chairman, and I would like to reiterate once again that we should invite again the former President to be present in the next hearing.
Bunyog, bunyog, halikan na kasama ka. Bunyog, kapag buklod ay may pag-asa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, isa ang pananaw. Sa bagong Pilipinas ang bunyog isisigaw. Bunyog.